Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy Alex. It is Sunday night. I decided to do a YouTube video because I want to go 5 days off taking a video. Now, we're still going to continue my television filmmaking series. We got like maybe 4 or 5 more episodes left, and then it'll be the season finale. This one is going to be, it's supposed to be close to the last one in the season finale. But I decided, why not wait until September to do it, and I thought that might be too long. So this one's going to be a video. This is going to be the first one. This one's going to be the greatest actresses in Hollywood. We're talking about the ones that when you watch them in movies, television, right when you see them, you know right off the back they are the best. And not just the best, they're the greatest. Now, this one is for people who have real, true talent. People who are blessed to be in filmmaking. We're talking about the greatest actresses to ever act in film, television. And some of the names on this list have gone on to become film producers, screenwriters, producers, directors. They have their own production companies. A lot of them have been in the game for 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years. A lot of them are now being considered legends, icons in the industry of filmmaking. Now, this is the list for women, the greatest actresses. And then we're going to have one for men. So before the men start to get upset and go, hey, man, what about the greatest men in acting? We're going to have one for the women. We're going to have one for the men. And then I'm still not finished because I got another video that might come maybe towards the end of next week. I decide maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 days off will be nice so I can write the script out. I got some ideas for other film projects, and I got to get ready for the second round of the NBA playoffs, so that's probably why you're not going to be getting too many videos on here. It's not done intentionally on purpose. It's just you got basketball back on, you got football. Pretty soon, September 10th, is going to be the return of the NFL season, so I'm going to be talking about more sports. Then I'm going to be talking about television and film, and hopefully by the time we get to September 3rd, I get a chance to do my first movie review of The Tenet. That's what I'm really looking forward to, because it would be a nice way to celebrate the return of filmmaking by having them release it on September 3rd. So that's 50-50. Keep your fingers crossed. We might actually get to go back to the movie theaters. Of course, we got to practice social distancing and get a mask and sit at least 6 to 12 feet away from each other. But I want to get a chance to talk about The Tenet and make that into a movie review. That would really help this channel tremendously. Like, this would make the channel grow exponentially. If I can just do one movie review on The Tenet, we done our job, There are a television show that I want to do a TV review on, but I ain't been watching the revised version of Perry Mason like I should have. So, unfortunately, I didn't know it was going to drop it a month and a half ago. I'm rambling. Let's get on with it. The name of the video is going to be called Sex Game, the top 11 greatest actresses in film, television of all times. We're talking about people who are blessed with talent. People, when you hear their names, you go, oh yeah, that person can act. Oh, that person knows how to be in front of a camera. They were blessed to be in front of the camera. They got talent like that. So let's get to it. Coming in at actually, not 11, 12, my bad, 12. Coming in at number 12 is Emily Blunt. Now, she should be much, much higher on this list. She is from the United Kingdom. She's a great actress, and I have been blessed to see some of her movies. You've seen some of her movies. You've seen her in The Guardian when she was real young, when she just started out in Hollywood. She was in Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. I'm still waiting for that sequel. She was in the first movie with Josh Brolin and Ben Dentero. It's a disappointment that they did not bring her back for the sequel to that movie. They asked Josh Brolin and Mauricio Dentero to come back and do the sequel to the movie Scorpio, but she was fantastic in that first film. She got into athletic shape. And I liked her performance in Edge of Tomorrow. That's supposed to get a sequel. I don't know what's taking so long. Hurry up, Tom Cruise, get the sequel done. I want to see Edge of Tomorrow Part 2 and Part 3. I mean, she was good in that movie. Um, she is someone that when you see her movies, she gives it 100%. She gives it all she got. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a movie, television show, theater performance. She gives it all she got. Nothing but the best. When you hear the word actress, her name will come up 9 times out of 10. You know, she is strong on camera. Like, she can be with the big heavyweights and it won't bother her. You know, she's done a movie with Tom Cruise and she holds her own in acting with Tom Cruise, who's been in the game for like 30 plus years. She originally was supposed to be Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow in Iron Man 2 in the Avengers movie, but she was doing this movie that I'm talking about, and by the time the deal was made to cast someone to play Natasha Romanoff, they chose Scarlett Johansson, and some people were kind of like surprised that they would even do that. But you could tell that somewhere in the future she might eventually do a Marvel movie. She might do another character that's similar to the Black Widow. I mean, you can always make a television series and go back to the beginning and say there was another girl at that same school who ended up becoming a Black Widow type of character. You know, Marvel has their fantastic ways on how they actually do that. So that's why she's at number 12. She should be rated much, much higher than this. But there's a lot of people on here that are just as talented. So coming in at number 11 is J.P. Henson. Now, she's somebody who went from baby boy to an Oscar. I'm going to say it again. J.P. Henson went from baby boy to an Oscar. Not too many African American actresses can start off doing low budget films, television, and then be catapulted to the height of Hollywood elite. And she did this in 10 to 12 years. Like, her resume is impressive. Like, when she was in Baby Boy, we just thought, okay, that was the height of her career. And she proved everybody wrong because she appeared in a whole bunch of movies. She did a television show called Person of Interest, which showed that she could do some serious dramatic acting. She holds her own with a lot of the veteran actors, and she learned that experience. She harnessed that experience. She learned it. She willed her craft as an actress, and it catapulted her to doing a movie with Kevin Costner that was based on a true story, and she got nominated for an Academy Award, Golden Globe, and if she didn't win the Oscar, she got close to getting the Oscar. I think she won the Oscar. Some of y'all might correct me and say she didn't, but if she didn't win the Oscar, she should have won the Oscar. If she did, great, fantastic, but she showed that she can get on camera and really, really bring any character to life. Now, she did try her hand at action-packed movies, something I felt she should have done a little earlier, and she would have been accepted as an action star. You know, that's just my opinion. I think she waited a little bit too late. She should have did it a little early, and she got to be a strong character opposite of Terrence Howard in Empire. Like, to me, she hold her own again on television and led another television franchise. So this woman can act. You know, you just write a script. You know, she's been in Tyler Perry's movies. In fact, that's kind of what shot her all the way to the top, was in fact doing some of Tyler Perry's movies, and not just movies, plays. So you got to watch out for this one. This one's got some talent. Coming in at number 10 is Charlize Theron. Now, she started in the mid to late 1990s, early 2000s. Now, some of her first 4 or 5 films, they weren't exactly that good. They weren't that perfect, but she was starting out. She was in the Astronaut's Wife. She was in Reindeer Games, opposite Ben Affleck. So she was right there with the big heavyweights. You know, Ben Affleck, Johnny Depp. She was right there. You know, she did a movie called Congo. And then later she got to be in some of the even bigger blockbuster movies. You fast forward like 20 years later, she got to be in Snow White and the Huntsman, the sequel. She got to be in Prometheus, and then she got to show her acting chops and action chops when she appeared in a movie called Fast and Furious 8. And for her to be at her age And to be considered like another Angelina Jolie is oppressive. She's in her 40s, pushing into her 50s, great athletic shape, no signs of slowing down. And when you get to her age, usually they put you on television, but not this woman. This woman must got superpowers or something because apparently studios like her enough to put her in a Fast and Furious movie. And her chemistry, her interaction with Van Diesel was so great. You can see why Van Diesel said, bring her back for the sequel. And to have her be a strong villain in Fast and Furious is like they never did that in the first 4 or 5 films. And when they did it with her, it worked. So you may never know what you might get out of her on her best day. And when she did her portrayal in the 2004's movie Monster, a lot of people didn't even know that was Charlize Theron. I didn't even know until my mom told me, what, you didn't know that she, put the weight on and got the makeup on and looked like the woman who did the incident. I don't want to go into the whole entire movie because that's called spoiler alert, and I don't want to ruin you guys' movie experience. It's an old movie called Monster. But she got nominated for an Oscar and probably won the Oscar. I can't remember because look how long ago that was. But she can play different characters. And that weren't the only movie where she did that. It was another movie based on a comic book and an anime called Affleck, where she got a funny looking hairstyle. And that was kind of like their way of doing a female-led action movie. And fast 4 years later, she's doing a whole bunch of action-packed movies. So, yeah, you got to give this woman some credit. So, in a way, she is a great actress. You don't get to be her age and do these movies at this magnitude for a specific reason. All right, coming in at number 9 is Zoe Saldana. Now, that's a very talented one because she's a part of multiple franchises. This woman's doing Guardians of the Galaxy. She done Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame. Loved her in those movies. She did Colombiana, one of my personal favorite movies with her in it. Let's see, there was Takers, weren't that very well received, but she was in that too. And she also got to be in some romantic comedies. And then she got to be a part of another franchise. I don't know what James Cameron is really waiting for, but when I'm going to see Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, she was fantastic in the first film, and to me, she had qualities playing that character. So her movies are good, and then there was that whole controversial of her playing, another character, and people didn't like her playing that character because they wanted an actual black woman to play that character, and they chose her, and she had to apologize for it, but it doesn't take away from her good performance in the movie. I heard about the movie when I was in film school, and I have yet to see the movie. There's so many movies I missed out on when I was taking quizzes, exams, back in that time frame. Coming in at number 8 is Jennifer Lopez. Now, this is someone that started off in television. Living Color. A lot of people don't remember, but she was on Living Color. And that's where she showcased her style of acting. Then she did a movie called Selena, based on a true story. And a lot of people were shocked that she was able to transform into that person and then make the movie the way that it was written. And she brought the character to life, which is a real person. She sings, she danced like Selena, she looked like Selena. And it was her best portrayal, and it led her doing movies like The Boy Next Door, Money Train, Out of Sight with George Clooney. To me, that was like one of her best movies. When she was with George Clooney, that was like one of the best movies right there. You got to see her play different characters. And then, of course, she did try her hand at television, playing a police officer. Again, she's a triple threat because she's doing movies, television, music. She's a judge, and for her to be her age doing that is interesting because, again, most actresses, they're usually, they're going to do television, and she does all of it. So you gotta marvel that she done it. Coming in at number 7 is Lupita Nyongo. Sorry if I butchered the last name. She's African, sexy, fine, good-looking black woman, and we should know who she is because she did a romantic comedy movie. She did a serious melodrama, which she didn't get an Oscar for, but then she appeared in a big blockbuster movie like a year and a half ago, or should I say 2 years ago, and that was Black Panther. And she got to be like the love interest to Cecilia. So basically, you're looking at somebody who's in the prime of their career, and her career's just getting started, and you can't call this the world. You can't call this the greatest list of actresses if you don't include her on the list. It'd be a crime, a tragedy if she's not on this list. So that's why she's on here. Coming in at number 6, it's a tie. I know people don't like ties. It is what it is. It's Angie Jolie and Margot Robbie. I'm sorry if I messed up the last name, but you should know who Angie Jolie is. There are similarities between these two actresses. Both of them started doing low-budget movies, and then they brought themselves up, and then Angie Jolie did a whole bunch of movies of like Sky Captain of Tomorrow, Gone in 60 Seconds, Tomb Raider 2. She did Girl Interrupted. She did a whole bunch of movies. Wanted, she did a whole bunch of movies. She was in Alexander, that one historian movie. She was in a whole bunch of movies. And she's come a long way because she went from acting to producing, writing, directing, having her own production company, and she got to play a badass video game character. And not too many people get to do that in their career. And in the last 25 years doing this. On the other hand, we got Margot Robbie, I'm sorry if I keep messing up the last name, who played Harley Quinn. And nobody had ever before played Harley Quinn in the comic book the way she did. We saw her in a movie called Focus with Will Smith. Then she did 2 or 3 other movies. And then her career just took off. We all of a sudden, we're just seeing her in this movie and that movie. We don't know the name of the movie, but we see her, we go, that's Harley Quinn. And every time we see a movie, we go, that's Harley Quinn. Some of us can't even pronounce her real name. We just know she's Australian. We know she's fine, good looking, and we know she played Harley Quinn. And she has her own production company. Most people get their production company when they're older. She did that when she was like 27, 28, got her own production company. So she could actually produce, write, and direct feature films for other actresses in the future if she wanted to. So that's why they're on this list, because Angie Jolie's doing it and Harley Quinn's doing it. So it takes real talent to do that. They're not just, a cute face that just looks good for the camera. These are people who actually have real talent, and they actually can do characters of different genres. All right, coming in at number 5 is Nicole Kidman. Now, this one right here is a trailblazer. Been in the game for 3+ decades. She's done movies, television, theater, Broadway. She's worked with every big name in Hollywood you possibly could not name off. She was with Hugh Jackman. She was with Tom Cruise. She's been with a lot of big heavyweight hitters. Let's not forget there's Days of Thunder. There's To Die For. That was, Batman Forever. That's another one. There's Paperboy. There's a whole bunch of movies she have been in. And basically she's good. And she even did a movie called Practical Magic, with Sandra Bullock in it. It's like way, way, way back in the day when I was still a little kid. But that's also how they got the television show Charm started. And I mean, because you look at Charm and you look at that movie, there's similarities there. But she's been around. And her acting is so superb that no matter what genre it is, she can literally become that character. So you sometimes want to know why people watch her movies. She's good. She's good on screen. And she's been a part of multiple franchises. And when she got to, she impressed the hell out of me when she appeared in Aquaman. Like, she literally, at her age, was in athletic shape and did the dangerous stunts and did the fighting. And I was like, man, that's Nicole Kidman. Like, at first I thought it was somebody else, but it was actually her. And for her to do a movie of that scale, it takes talent to do that. And it was perfect because at one point they were talking about her being either in Wonder Woman or an Aquaman. Aquaman was the better choice, so they obviously made the best decision in that regard. All right, coming in at number 4 is Scarlett Johansson. Everybody knows I have a huge, huge crush on her ever since I saw her in Lost in Translation, The Island. These are movies before she started doing, the action-packed movies, The Avengers. That came later in her career, much later. I'm talking about movies earlier. She was always doing action-packed movies. And she finally hit it big when she did, you know, Iron Man 2. Then she got to be in Avengers, the second Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War. And now she's getting her own movie, Black Widow. Of course, say what you will about Lucy. That's supposed to get a sequel. She was in Ghost in the Shell. So she is like a big draw at the box office. When people come to the movies, they forget everything in the movie and they just see Scarlett Johansson. Okay? Her box office performance, the way she kicks ass, all the characters that she played, people just come to watch her. You're getting your money's worth when you're watching Scarlett Johansson. I'd be amazed if someone predicts she should get an Oscar because she did Black Widow. I don't know if they'll give it to her or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. Yeah, that's why she's high on this list. Should be much higher, but there's a lot of people in here with talent. Coming in at number 3, and it's a tie, and I know you people hate ties. Coming in at number 3, it's Angela Bassett tied with Halle Berry. Both are legends. Both are icons. Both have been in Hollywood for 3+ decades. And wrong actress. Halle Berry, 3 decades. Angela Bassett's pushing to 4 decades. Impressive resume for both. If you're trying to break into acting and you're a woman, this is who I think you should learn from. You should learn from Halle Berry or learn from someone like Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett done so many movies, it's hard to keep count. Because there's Waiting to Exhale, which most men hate that movie. I mean, you ask any black man, as soon as you say Waiting to Exhale, he'll be like, what? I know you ain't say Waiting to, all right, man, I'm going to have to, dog you out on the basketball court. There's Waiting to Exhale. There's Tina Turner. There's, let's see, there was another movie that she was in. I can't think of it, but it was not Interview with the Vampire, but Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy. That's a good one. So she did that movie, and a lot of people felt at the time when they did X-Men, that's who should have been Storm. And it went to Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry, we saw her in a lot of movies. We saw her in Boothsworth, Monsters Ball. We saw her in Swordfish. She got to do Catwoman later in her career. She got to pop up and do a James Bond movie. When you get asked to do a James Bond movie, you know you've hit the big time in Hollywood. Both. Now, Halle Berry has won the Oscar, almost 2 Oscars. The only thing with Angela Bassett is she's been around for so long. She's done so many movies. She appeared in Green Lantern. She appeared in Black Panther. She appeared in a television show. Perhaps you've seen it. She was with, strong performance with Lady Gaga. And it's like the one thing that seems to be missing on her resume is an Oscar. And this woman deserves an Oscar. In my opinion, she should have had 2 or 3 Oscars. You don't get to be in the game for this long and have that type of talent and not get the Oscar. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Jennifer Lawrence. I know a lot of people would probably say, what about her? Now, she is a big draw like Scarlett Johansson. All-American girl, stays out of trouble, tries her best to stay away from the media. And she's been in the Hunger Games. That's a franchise. She was a part of X-Men. That was another franchise. Then she did that one movie with Chris Pratt, The Passengers. I've seen it. It's a pretty good movie, very well written. There was American Hustle. I watched some of her movies. I know who she is. There was The Lovely Bones. I read that book when I was in high school and then again in college. So naturally, when I saw the movie Lovely Bones, I already knew what the story was about. And she was good in that. And every time they do a big blockbuster movie, they get her. So, because she's the draw. And to me, I'm amazed that she's gotten an Academy Award, but not an Oscar for her portrayal in those movies. But there's going to be an Oscar. If she already has one, then probably a second Oscar. I'm just telling you the history of these actresses. Now, for the number one actress, and some of you might actually agree with this, some of you might actually disagree with this, some of you might actually watch this video maybe 2 times, maybe 4 or 5 times after you hear this name, and some of y'all may not even agree with it. And this person at number 1 is Zendaya. Yes, the girl that you saw in Spider-Man Far Away from Home and the second Spider-Man film, Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far Away from Home. Now you might say, why her? Because she's very beautiful, very attractive, and she has a promising career. She's in the prime of her career. Because there is potential for her to go from this franchise to an even bigger franchise. Like, they've already done Aladdin. They've already done Lion King. They're supposed to be doing a live interpretation of Hercules. And she could also appear in that movie if she auditioned for it. And to me, it's sky's the limit for Zendaya. Because she's kind of like a cross between a young version of Angela Bassett and Halle Berry. And she's also going to become a big draw. Because when we found out they were going to make her Mary Jane, as controversial that was, everyone wanted to go see the movie just because they heard speculation that she was going to become Mary Jane. And you know, if they start making more Spider-Man films, you know, somewhere in the future her role's going to get as big as Spider-Man's, and you know, she might end up fighting some of the villains. Don't be surprised if they start putting in the script that she end up getting some superpowers along the way. There is a chance for her to go into bigger franchises and be the brightest star ever. So that's why we pick her at number 1. Now, I don't expect everybody to like who's at number 1. It's not the first time I've done this in the video. I've had videos in the past where people took it literally personal just because I had somebody like her at number 1. If you don't like her at number 1, I understand. Explain, give me 3 to 5 reasons in the comment section why you think she's number 1, why you think she's not number 1, who should have been number 1, and why. That's all you have to do in the comment section, you know. Or if you make a video response, that's okay too. So I don't want to take no one else's time. Until next time, peace.